Abubakar for his welcome address. The chairman, please. I'd like to respectfully recognize in our midst the chairman of today's occasion. He is representing the chairman of today's occasion, former Chief of Defense Staff, former Chief of Army Staff, General Martin Luther Aguirre, retired. GCFR, you're welcome, sir. And now that we have our chairman on this event will start in earnest. May I once again invite the chairman organizing committee, Dr. Yusuf Abubakar, please, for your welcome address. Dr. Yusuf, please.
Good morning, everybody. I stand on the existing protocol. As the chairman of the organizing committee, I want to, on behalf of all the members of the organizing committee, welcome you all to this important gathering, the launch of Shadows of Power, authored by Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire. Today is not merely a book launch, it is a moment of reflection on power, leadership, national security, diplomacy, and the unseen forces that shape nations. Coming from an officer, scholar practitioner, and former defense attaché of Nigeria to Angola, this work speaks from the rich intersection of military service, diplomatic exposure, and strategic thought. Your presence here, especially from the diplomatic community, the armed forces of Nigeria, former political leadership, academia, media, and civil society, gives honor to the author and weight to the conversation this book seeks to provoke. We are grateful to all our distinguished guests for finding time to be part of this event. It is our hope that Shadows of Power will not only enrich our understanding of power, but also inspire deep commitments to national interests, strategic foresight, and responsible leadership. Once again, I say welcome to this very important occasion, and I wish you all a memorable and successful book launch. Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please can we put our hands together for him? I want to put forward a disclaimer that I am not a military officer. I'm a full-blown civilian. The closest I got to joining the army was writing the NMS exams like 3 times without success. After that, I decided to join the Boy Scout. At least let me wear some form of khaki. I want us to understand that we are doing a book launch, and it's important that we encourage the author with smiles. This place looks like we are doing convocation or the matriculation at the NDA. And talking about the NDA, I had gone there once to teach English. We were doing some conference and we wanted to pick for Nigeria which English language would be best, so that when people write books, they will pick the right language to use. After 3 days in Kaduna, it was difficult to pick that for Nigeria, one of either the American or the British English. Because, for instance, in Britain, they will say extreme. In America, they will say end. But here we'll say extreme end. In Britain, they will say knicker. In America, they will say short. But here we'll say short knicker. In Britain, they will say salon. In America, they will say barber shop. But here we'll say barbing salon. In Britain, they will say so. In America, they will say therefore. But here we'll say so therefore. In Britain, they will say still. In America, they will say yet. But here we'll say still yet. In Britain, they will say should. In America, they will say in case. But here we'll say should in case. In Britain, they will say reverse. In America, they will say turn back. But here we'll say reverse back. In Britain, they will say henceforth. In America, they will say from now on. But here we'll say from now henceforth. Please put your hands together for yourselves. And so, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our first contact with the book will be in the form of a slide. I understand that a reviewer has been prepared who will talk to us about the book later. But for now, I'll advise that we focus on the screen as we first experience a video presentation about what the book is about. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together some more for our team.
June 2026.
It was Thucydides, the Athenian general, who observed in 41 BC that the strong do what they can and the weak suffer what they must. That statement remains a defining reality of international politics today, where power, not sentiment, determines outcome. Power respects preparation, not potential. And nations that fail to prepare inevitably become arenas for those that do. In 2017, I began a research journey to examine how the 5 major powers, China, France, Russia, United Kingdom, and United States, have shaped Nigeria's national security. What I found was both revealing and concerning. While much has been written about national security, very little attention has been paid to how Nigeria is perceived by these powers and how these perceptions translate into real influence. That influence is neither abstract nor distant. It is visible in Nigeria's military capabilities, its economic structures, and even its political processes. From the shaping of electoral narratives to dependence of foreign-controlled infrastructure, Nigeria operates within systems it does not fully control. These powers influence the weapons Nigeria acquires, the doctrines it adopts, the partners it trains with, and the options available to it in times of crisis. In effect, Nigeria often finds itself navigating between constraints it did not design. Shadows of Power interrogates this reality. It positions Nigeria not merely as a sovereign actor, but as a strategic piece on the global chessboard, engaged at different times as a partner, a competitor, or an instrument. But this book is not just a diagnosis, it is a call to action. It argues Nigeria must transition from a nation of potential to a nation of power. It advocates for deliberate, interest-driven engagement with the major powers anchored not in dependency, but in clarity, in strength, and strategic intent. Drawing lessons from countries such as Kenya, Morocco, and Rwanda, it proposes a pragmatic Nigeria-first approach that must build capacity against military, economic, institutional, and narrative domains. Because ultimately, national power is not an abstract concept, it's a foundation of sovereignty, influence, and survival. The central assertion of shadows of power is simple. Nigeria is not destined to remain vulnerable. It can rise, reduce dependence, and assert itself with clarity and confidence on the global stage. And so, I close with this thought. In the global chessboard of power, no one gives you a seat. You claim it, you build it, and you defend it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, may I request another round of applause for the author. Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellencies, I strongly believe this publication will be completely sold out today, considering the distinguished personalities present here and the value this book carries. Once more, may I request another round of applause for the author for doing justice to this book. And when you get a copy, you will know what we are talking about and understand what we're saying. Thank you. For every great story deserves a beautiful soundtrack. To set the perfect tone for this special book launch, please join me in welcoming the exceptional, talented Ravi Sachs to the stage.
Thank you very much, Revi Sax, one of Nigeria's finest saxophonists. Thank you. May I especially welcome the representative of His Royal Highness, the Emir of Zaria, we popularly refer to as Zazzau. He's represented here today by the Wakil in Raya Kasar Zazzau, Alhaji Aminu Yakubu Wambai. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, up next will be a very important speech. And for speeches are important to me, the day I had witnessed the minister give his shortest speech ever was when I was invited as MC, and we were on the bridge. The minister was to commission the bridge. His PA had only managed to print one copy of the speech, and we were all standing in between collecting the speech from his PA's hand and reading it. There was a bad wind that came and took the paper from the PA's hand, and the thing went into the river. And the man had not read the speech beforehand. So he looked at me, looked at his PA and the small crowd gathered on the bridge, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, with my speech in the river, I hereby commission the bridge." We have one who traditionally should have been here. He had told us, he had written the foreword of this book, and he had carefully told us that he had planned his journey around today as our chairman. He's a soldier whose career reads like a well-decorated battle standard. But today, he is coming in here to represent one who had worked with him in many, many capacities. He's a distinguished soldier of peace and has the privilege of presenting another giant of history, a man whose life has marched throughout the battlefields of war, governance and diplomacy, nation building, a statesman who has stood sentry over Nigeria's democratic journey and whose shadow looms larger across Africa's landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, our chairman for today will not be here in person, but he has also sent one who has that capacity and strength to do for us what ordinarily he should have done. His Excellency, Chief Olusegun Kikiola Aremu Obasanjo GCFR, is ably represented here today, very especially by a distinguished man, a soldier, a general, a retired four-star general, former chief of army staff, former chief of defense staff, a global peacekeeper, and a commander whose footprints stretch from the barracks to the Nigerian peace missions. Please put your hands together as I welcome General Martin Luther Akwe, CFR. Please, can we put our hands together especially for him?
Please be seated. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you know, by standing up, you even actually added more burden to me. Because, first of all, to come in and stand for my former commander-in-chief and the president of Nigeria is actually a heavy thing. And then when I look across, I found so many of my colleagues. I then feel that I thank the president, the former president, for asking me to, for honoring me, to ask me to represent him, because I'm able to see some of my colleagues, former chief of defense staff, have been able to see Lucky, and then my classmate, Admiral Ola Ibrahim. If you want to know how we became classmates, after this, you will meet me and I will tell you. Thank you. Well, the MC started by saying that, so therefore, from now we go do them sharp. I think he said that is the Nigerian English. We add and add and add. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to go straight to the speech I was given before I have started with my own, let me go to Baba's own before I run into problem. He asked me to bring greetings, his warmest greetings to the author and all that are present here. And he stated that he is so proud that the Nigerian military officers are now sharing their experiences not only on military issues, but on global issues. And that the military is contributing not only in issue of maintaining peace, stability, and security, but also in contributing in the intellectual development of our society. And he said when he was approached by Rear Admiral Sola Oluwagbire, I hope I got it right. Beautiful. I stayed in Oyo, so I can now understand why my Yoruba is still not bad. Approached him, he was a bit reluctant, but when he went and saw the framework and everything about the book, he felt he wants to be part of it. And he accepted it, the shadow of power, by not only accepting to come, but he wrote the foreword of the book because of the substance of the issues he found in the book. He wanted to be part of it. And he also wanted to be here with us today. But, and Sola, you know, even in my reply, I said, even if I don't want to come, because Baba was my mentor that he's coming to Abuja as the chairman, I must come. Then, few days after, I got this letter and message from him to represent him because of his other commitment. It is really because of the other commitment that he's not here, but he wants and pray that all of us that are here will not only buy a copy. He has gone through it, and he believes most of our institutions in this country need this book. So please, if you have any word or friend or anybody in school, get a copy for that person, get a copy for your own library and for your own reading. But the most important thing he's requesting that as many as possible out there, especially the young ones, need this book. Policymakers in this country need this book. We, the people down there that hope to be somebody tomorrow, we also need this book. So, having stated Baba's own, I want to say, given this opportunity, to say that, as Baba have stated, I'm really, really delighted that these days we have been invited by our colleagues. And that is a challenge. Well, General Rabo, you have saved us by coming up with your book. Admiral Ibrahim, we are still waiting for your own. And there are many others that are here, former service chiefs and others, we are waiting for yours. Don't ask me. I'm waiting for my classmate first before I bring mine. So on that note, I want to thank you to enjoy the whole of today. And I believe that it's going to be a wonderful book presentation. And I believe that those of us who have not seen some of our old friends will have an opportunity of doing that. Good morning.
May I request another round of applause for the chairman of today's occasion? Thank you very much, sir. Next, we shall be taking the author's profile presentation.
Olusola Ladies and gentlemen, today we celebrate not just a book, but a journey, vision, and legacy of an exceptional mind. Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, retired. Rear Admiral Oluwagbire, retired, was born in Ibadan, Oyo State, to the family of Colonel John Fagbire, retired, of Nigerian Army Corps of Infantry, and Miss Victoria Fagbire, now late, who served as a respected head teacher. He is the only male in a family of 5 children and second in order of birth. The senior officer attended Sacred Heart Nursery and Primary School and Command Secondary School, both in Ibadan, where he developed an early passion for leadership, writing, service, and scholarship. He initially wanted to study medicine and made inroad into the Oyo State College of Arts and Science as well as the University of Ilorin before gaining admission into the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna in 1988 as a member of 40 regular course. His formative years shaped a lifelong commitment to excellence and national impact. Sola was commissioned in 1993 as a sub-lieutenant in the Nigerian Navy. He attended several courses in the course of his career, some of which include the Officer Long Course, where he specialized in communication, the Junior and Senior Staff courses, and the National Defense Course, amongst others. Over the years, he distinguished himself in the Navy, serving in strategic roles such as Nigerian Defense Attaché to Angola with concurrent accreditation to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Namibia, Zambia, and the Gulf of Guinea Commission. He also served as directing staff at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College and National Defense College. Other appointments held by Rear Admiral Oluwagbire, retired, include Director of Operations at the Naval Headquarters, Flag Officer Commanding Eastern Naval Command, Chief of Logistics at Naval Headquarters, and Navy Secretary, his final appointment before retiring from active service in October 2025. Through dedication, discipline, and visionary leadership, Rear Admiral Oluwagbire, retired, became recognized for contributions in operational naval leadership, defense training roles, and thought leadership. He holds a PhD in International and Diplomatic Studies with master's degree in Maritime Security, International Affairs and Diplomacy, as well as National Security and War Studies. His book, Shadows of Power, weighs his deep professional experience with strategic reflections on Nigeria's place in an increasingly competitive global order shaped by great powers' library, strategic dependence, and the realities of national interest. The book seeks to inspire informed discourse, strategic thinking, and national consciousness among readers. Rear Admiral Oluwagbire, retired, is married to engineer Mrs. Olanrewaju Oluwagbire, and they are blessed with 4 children. In his spare time, he enjoys reading and writing. Today, we honor not only an author, but a visionary, mentor, and national builder. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's celebrate Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, retired.
I thought that applause was not befitting. Can we give him another round of applause? I told myself the day I write a book, my friends will clap till their hands become red. To be this and to be this happy, we especially appreciate you. Thank you. And somebody had written, I just slipped that into his biography, that he wanted to study medicine. I don't know, they will have removed that part. You know, yesterday I was at an event introducing people. I introduced 4 persons who were doctors at a row. But I noticed the 5th person, his doctor was written with small letters. So I wasn't so sure. So I moved close to him and said, sir, this is your doctor. Is it academic or is it medical? He just looked straight at me and said, my son, leave me. I'm a native doctor. I want to specially appreciate the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Shoaib Belgouri. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. We're honored to have you. May I also specially appreciate the Director Admin, Federal Medical Center, Gombe State. I especially appreciate Dr. Halima Usman. Please put your hands together for her. Thank you very much. The next person I'm about to bring up is the person who had the first knowledge of reading the book after the author's wife. Indeed, Madame was the first person who read it and approved it for publishing. But afterwards, we gave it to this man to go ahead and read. Our reviewer today is a man who understands both the intelligence behind security and the security behind intelligence. He has spent years reading the signals of governance and deciphering the codes of leadership. He has continued to build human capital as carefully as a strategic builds a defense system. Ladies and gentlemen, some men gather information, some men interpret intelligence, some men secure nations, and some men build leaders. Our book reviewer, a former deputy chairman of the House Committee on National Security and Intelligence, and founder of the Bretton Woods and Trinity Leadership Foundation, has done all 4. He is a trusted mind entrusted with reviewing the book today. Please put your hands together as I welcome our own Honorable Adetoro Adeogun. Please put your hands together for him as he comes up to tell us exactly what the author meant when he was writing this book. Please clap for him.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, very senior officer of Nigeria's Armed Forces, the author, my brother, Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, the wife, my dear brother, the chairman of the occasion, who's representing our former head of state, former president as well, my brother Luke Onofiok, and I cited the former chief of naval staff seated there, amongst other senior officers. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. While sitting over there, I listened to the introduction of the author, and he ended his speech with the first line of my review. In the world of geopolitics, no one gives you a seat. You claim it, you build it, you defend it. But I have 2 other quotes from the book to serve as my introduction. Global conflict today is not just about ideology or defense. It is about interest in who gets what, who sells it, who survives long enough to cash in. And the last one will be, in modern warfare, diplomacy and capitalism wear the same tailored jacket. Good morning once more. So Shadows of Power is a rare blend of memoir, geopolitical analysis, and national security diagnosis written by Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, a strategic thinker, military diplomat, distinguished officer, and gentleman. It was published in 2026 by May Publishing Limited. The maiden edition of the book has a well-illustrated paperback cover, which envelopes fine prints of 157 pages, structured into 4 parts and 11 chapters. The summary. The book examines Nigeria's position in a global system dominated by major powers whose interests intersect often aggressively in Africa. Drawing from 3 decades of military and diplomatic service, the author explores how Nigeria's security challenges foreign policy failures, institutional weaknesses, and the external dependencies have shaped its vulnerabilities. The book argues that Nigeria must pursue strategic autonomy, rebuild institutions, industrialize, and center its foreign policy around national interests rather than sentiment or historical emotions. Part 1 of the book opens with an examination of Nigeria's historical attempt and efforts at defining its national security objectives. The book identified the revolving nature of national security objectives from 1960 to the present. For instance, whereas in 1960, national security meant independence, sovereignty, border control, and unity in diversity. In 2025, national security must mean stronger institutions, trustworthy leaders, jobs that pay, clean water, reliable electricity, schools that teach, justice that's not for sale, and a future that can be believed in. This is on page 8 of the book. The author identified a correlation between economy and security. National security does not require preventing threats, but building a nation that's worth defending. That's on page 13. Part 2 examines the relationship between Nigeria and the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council: United States of America, China, Russia, United Kingdom, and France, as well as the interplay of strategic diplomatic choices. The 5 chapters of this section describes how each of these global military and economic powers deploys soft and hard powers to sustain their defense, economic, and geopolitical interests, and how this strategic deployment of influence affects Nigeria's security. The author identified what he called Nigeria's strategic vulnerability, highlighted by Nigeria's dependence on world powers for security and economic stability. He captured this vulnerability in these words: can a country that trades mostly for what it digs from the ground ever negotiate from a position of strength with the factories of the world? He concluded in page 38, and in the great game of power, weakness is an open invitation. In describing the dynamics of the relationship between Nigeria and each of these nations, he identified that Nigeria was mostly at the mercy of these stronger allies because of defense and economic dependency. Part 3 traces the characteristics of Nigeria's foreign policy from independence to present. It identified Nigeria's foreign policy evolution, Nigeria's diplomatic inconsistency, and now funding challenges. Slow appointment of ambassadors have undermined Nigeria's influence. The book equally identified Nigeria's African burden, epitomized by regional responsibility, funding ECOWAS, leading peacekeeping missions, resolving coups, supporting neighbors, but with little strategic gain. The author criticizes Nigeria's sentimental diplomacy and called for a doctrine that centers Nigerian interests above regional loyalty. In part 4, Oluwagbire provides a powerful breakdown of Nigeria's dependencies in 4 domains: military, economic, narrative, and institutional. From imported weapons and fuel to foreign-controlled digital systems and externally shaped security doctrines, Nigeria's autonomy is heavily compromised. He compares Nigeria with Rwanda, Morocco, Kenya, showing how these other nations use partnerships to build capacity rather than dependence. In the concluding chapter, he profiles concrete pathways for what he describes as strategic autonomy: industrialization, defense manufacturing, energy diplomacy, tax reforms, local content requirements, soft power strategy, and governance report. Now, this is my own analysis. This is a well-written book, written in easily understandable prose, bold print, and arranged sequentially to facilitate contextual understanding of the main theme. The author identified the flaws of Nigeria's policy choices and the impact of these choices on Nigeria's geopolitical strength. Yet he carefully avoided a blame game associated with politicians. I appreciate the military discipline and professionalism exhibited by the author in his writings. However, global politics is not as unbiased. International relations is like a vessel controlled by multiple levers: military power, economic power, diplomacy, and international laws. And the ability to control or influence the most levers determines your place in that vessel. So how well is Nigeria placed to control these critical levers? This book brings forth a few questions that are begging for answer. What should be Nigeria's national security priority at this point in its history? Can Nigeria achieve its defense objectives if it buys with defense supplies from nations who insist on controlling when, where and how the weapons provided can be deployed? Given Nigeria's near total dependence on these nations for defense supplies, what happens when Nigeria's interests conflict with that of the suppliers? Is it not possible that these global powers will surreptitiously support insecurity in Nigeria to maintain strategic influence and ensure prolonged dependence? Can Nigeria build a foreign policy that is both principled and practical, one that reflects who Nigerians are at home while projecting who they want to be abroad? I agree with the author's position that the global powers and our foreign partners cannot solve our security challenges. Notwithstanding any support they offer, we must seek homegrown solutions to our problems. Nobody respects a man who cannot feed, clothe, or protect his family. Even if they indulge him in the public, they retire at their own comforts to plan how to take advantage of his vulnerabilities. I agree with him, too, that we must consciously look inward to build our economy, infrastructure, provide most of our own defense needs, and also consciously manage our interactions with other nations in ways that support our developmental objectives. Given that international relations are driven by strategic security and economic threats, Nigeria will remain a pawn in the global chessboard for as long as its defense and economy are influenced by the choices of others. If Nigeria is to break the yoke of vulnerability, government policy thrust must be geared towards self-sufficiency in critical areas that will strengthen our hands in pulling the levers of international relations. Takeaways and my conclusion. Shadows of Power is a bold, critical, and insightful examination of Nigeria's geopolitical reality. It blends historical analysis with contemporary events, offering both diagnosis and prescription. The author's tone is patriotic, yet unsparing, urging Nigeria to shift from reactive diplomacy to strategic leadership. The book's central message is clear. Nigeria must pursue a Nigeria first or Nigerian interest predominant doctrine, rebuild its institutions and industrialize deliberately, and renegotiate its place among global powers. It is an essential read for policymakers, diplomats, military leaders, military and paramilitary policy and strategic studies institutions, academics, citizens seeking to understand how Nigeria can claim its influence in the world dominated by giants. This book is a contribution towards shaping Nigeria's strategic thinking. The author has done well to document his own experiences and thoughts, believing that readers and policymakers will take the lessons and develop them for future policy initiatives. I wish to encourage officers serving and retired with similar experiences to document them to enrich the learning curves of officers in the military and young leaders in our nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the book review for today. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you for giving us insight into the book we're about to unveil this morning. Thank you very much. So may I request we give him another round of applause. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, to warm this hall for the proper unveiling that we're about to have, may I bring on stage back Ravi Sags for another performance.
Thank you very much. Please, let's give him another round of applause. I've just been told that a lot of us have been going to the wrong place, asking for the convenience. The convenience, the one to the left, once you go out this door, is for the male, and to the right is for the females. It's just one step down at the basement. You just go outside and then go down the stairs at the back, and you find the convenience there. Please, but if you're not so sure, you can ask the ushers, and they will direct you. So we're talking seriously about the book, and this is a point where we get to that we deal with a very, very serious issue, the main business for today. In a few minutes, we will be unveiling the book. Immediately after that, we'll have photographs with the book. And the reason I'm brought in here to sell the book will be done. But the author has also told us that this book is a contribution to humanity. He's primarily dedicating it to building peace and providing meaning to the leadership that we all advocate for. However, my job is to sell books. So I'll remind you very calmly the need to buy the books, but above all, it's about writing. I had been invited to NDA once by the lecturer who was teaching English. He's sitting at the back. He said I shouldn't introduce him. But I thank him for that honor to teach soldiers, and especially budding soldiers. That day, I was not in the mood to teach. I just told them, I said, just assume that you are in a war situation, and from your war experience, write for me a short story. I noticed everybody was seriously writing except one man. So I walked up to him. I said, young man, what's the problem? I told you to assume that you are in a war situation, and from your war experience, write me a short story. He told me, he said, sir, honestly, I died as soon as the war started. So there's no story for you today. Well, distinguished guests, this is how the format will be. We will take, the chairman will be asked to just go to that point and help us unveil the book. And immediately after that, we will take pictures with the book here. And after that, I'll invite the chief launcher who will set the proceedings rolling for how we intend to move towards the production of the second sets of these books. And I believe that we all understand what it means to be part of a book launch. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and these books after now will be on sale at Ibadan, Lagos, Abeokuta, and Abuja, booksellers, bookshops, and Roving Heights. Will also be online on Amazon, Kobo, and a lot of other sites that we'll share with you before we go. And so, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to begin again, permit me once more to invite one of Nigeria's most successful military officers, distinguished guests, renowned for combining military excellence with intellectual depth and global peacemaking leadership. Let's welcome the soldier of peace, General Martin Luther Akwai, retired. Please put your hands together for him as he approaches the board there to formally help us unveil the prototype of the book, and it will help us to see it. He's been accompanied by the author. The rest of us will remain because of lack of space. I understand that the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, he is here. If we had contacted him earlier, probably he would have made more room on the stage.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I unveil this book, I hope that our policymakers, our decision makers, the young people, everybody will benefit, and at the end, through what you have contributed, knowledge and stability will be available for us. Thank you.
We'll now present books to each member on the high table and those in the front row. These books are on loan right now to you. We'll have books for those in front. Can we rise, please, as we take pictures with the book? Thank you. Can we rise? May I invite those of us in front? I think we can join. Those in front can join. Your Excellency, please join us. It's good to add a smile. It means what we are doing is good. Let's try not to turn the book upside down. Thank you very much. Thank you. We may please go back to our seats. So thank you very much. We'll take our seat. At this point, we'll allow you to take a look at the book. You can remove the nylon if you feel like. There's no damage value. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the next item very quickly ushers us into the book proper and sales. It is my honor, therefore, to invite our chief launcher for today, Dr. Victor Ekpenyong, MD and CEO of Kenya International West Africa Company Limited and founder of Victor and Helen Foundation. But he has sent someone who indeed is a friend, who indeed is one who represents a bridge between the younger and the older generation. He's a former chairman of the House Committee on the Judiciary, but most especially remembered for his role as former Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. May I therefore invite a distinguished lawmaker, a special lawyer, a seasoned academic, Dr. Right Honorable Dr. Onofiok Luke, PhD. Please put your hands together for him as he approaches the podium to tell us exactly what it will take to produce at least 50,000 copies of the next set of these books. Please clap for him.
Thank you. Thank you very much, DMC. You said you are the only civilian here. I think I have a partner. I was worried when I was asked to come to a military facility and attend this event. I'm now consoled that I have a civilian like you, but we should mind the way we behave. And so I start by giving glory to God Almighty, the giver of life, who has made it possible, first, for each and every one of us to gather here this morning in celebration of the seminal work of our brother and a friend. And I thank God who has given him the grace to do this. The chairman of today's occasion, Your Excellency, service chiefs, both serving and retired, my brother, whom I had the opportunity to serve as a member of his committee in the House of Representatives when he was a deputy chairman, House Committee on Security and Intelligence, and senior military officers that are here, the author, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. DMC, something nearly happened to me again, like that minister who wanted to go and commission the bridge. But now, I didn't know where the speech was again, so I didn't know what to say. And so since I was coming for this event in the military facility, I told my friend and my brother who asked me to represent him here that just like the emir of Kanu said in his tribute to Herbert Wigwe, he said, you need to have a friend that will bail you out when you are in trouble, that his mouth always have a way of putting him in trouble. And then I looked through, when I was asked to represent him in this event, I looked through, the only former A chief or former service chief we have from Akwa Ibom is late, Evans Mashansika Edward. So I found out that there was nobody who would bail me if I say something wrong. So I told the man who is asking me to represent him here, please give me a speech that I will go and read so that I will not falter and so that I will leave this facility at the time I'm supposed to. And so he did send me his speech, and that is what I'm going to do, to read it verbatim, not to add anything. Because I've been palpitating since I came in here, and it's after I might have driven out of that gate that I will now find peace within my soul. That's on a lighter note. My friend and my brother, Dr. Victor Ekpenyong, would have been here in person. He's currently out of the country. And then he has high regards for the armed forces of this country. And so does his company, Kenya West African Limited. And then he has high regards for the author. And then in his speech, that will reflect. I read his speech. I feel greatly honored to be invited as chief launcher for the presentation of Shadows of Power, a book authored by a man whose life has been defined by service and commitment to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, retired. Today we gather to celebrate a sterling career, a distinguished legacy of service, and the willingness of a patriot to share his experiences, insight, and wisdom with generations present and yet unborn. Rear Admiral Oluwagbire belongs to that cadre of Nigerians who have committed the greater part of their lives to defending our sovereignty, preserving our national integrity, and ensuring that the ideals of peace and security remain the foundation upon which our collective aspiration can flourish. One of the defining highlights of his career that is very dear to my heart, I mean the heart of my brother, and mine too, remains his stewardship as Flag Officer Commanding of the Eastern Naval Command, comprising 16 states on land from rivers Akwa Ibom and Cross River upward to Bauchi, Yobe, and Bono states, including Lake Chad. Those of us in the oil and gas industry understand perhaps better than most that security and productivity are inseparable partners. Energy production reaches its full potential only when critical assets, personnel, and maritime corridors are secured. During his tenure as Flag Officer Commanding, Rear Admiral Oluwagbire contributed significantly to strengthening Nigeria's maritime security architecture. Notably, between April 2023 and February 2024, under his watch, the command apprehended 13 vessels and 101 suspects involved in illegal bunkering, crude oil theft, and other maritime offenses. Additionally, the Navy deactivated over 300 illegal refining sites and seized substantial quantities of crude and petroleum product. He played a key role subsequently in October 2023. He played a key leadership role in the Nigerian Navy's joint exercise Sea Guardian, which deployed 10 warships, 2 attack helicopters, and over 500 patrol boats to combat crude oil theft, sea robbery, piracy, and other maritime crimes across Nigeria's territorial waters and the Gulf of Guinea. The positive impact of those efforts was felt across the energy value chain. Improved security translated into increased confidence among operators, which Kenyan West Africa Limited is part. It enhanced protection of critical infrastructure and a boost to oil and gas production activities. These are contributions that may not always make headlines, but they are woven into the economic stability and growth of our nation. For these and many more other accomplishments, we owe him our gratitude. Distinguished guests, Shadows of Power is an important contribution to our national memory. Nations that fail to document their experiences often find themselves condemned to repeat their mistakes. Nations that preserve the lessons of their past are better positioned to shape their future. At a time when Nigeria continues to confront complex security challenges and seek pathways towards deeper national cohesion, stability, and development, the perspectives contained in this book are both timely and relevant. The author writes not as a distant observer, but as a participant. He speaks from years of practical engagement, strategic responsibility, operational experience, and first-hand encounters with the realities of national security and governance. His observations, therefore, carry the weight of experience, and his recommendations deserve thoughtful consideration by policymakers, scholars, security practitioners, students, and all citizens interested in the future of our country. As a nation, we must be careful not to equate retirement from active service with the end of service itself. Nigeria invests enormous resources in recruiting, training, equipping, and developing military personnel. Through years of training, operational exposure, leadership development, and strategic assignment, they acquire knowledge and experience that cannot be replicated overnight. Nigerian military officers are respected globally and have consistently distinguished themselves in international peacekeeping and security operations. Yet, many retire while they still possess tremendous capacity to contribute to national development. It is against this background that I strongly advocate the continued engagement of distinguished servicemen and women who have served meritoriously in consultancy, advisory, and strategic capacities. Their expertise remains a national asset. In an increasingly complex security environment, the contributions of retired officers can continue to strengthen our institutions, support policy formulation, mentor younger generations of military officers and leaders, and assist in identifying and neutralizing forces that seek to undermine our peace, unity, and national development. Rear Admiral Oluwagbire exemplifies this principle. Through this publication, he demonstrates that service to country does not end with the removal of a uniform. It continues through mentorship, intellectual contribution, public engagement, and the deliberate transfer of knowledge to future generations. At Kenyon International and through the Victor Helen Foundation, we have always believed that true leadership is measured not only by commercial success, but by meaningful contributions to society. That belief has inspired our continued support for Nigeria's security institutions, including the renovation of accommodation facilities, which we undertook at the Nigerian Army's 6th Division Barracks, Port Harcourt, and the comprehensive renovation of the Nigerian Navy Secondary School, Borokiri, Port Harcourt. Initiatives aimed at improving the welfare, learning environment, and well-being of those who serve our nation and their families. Today, we extend that same commitment to celebrating excellence and preserving history. We are honored to support the launch of this book because we believe that distinguished service should be celebrated. Invaluable experiences should be documented, and legacies of leadership should inspire generations to come. Fellow compatriots, I encourage you to obtain copies of Shadows of Power for personal reading and reflection. Beyond that, I urge individuals, institutions, corporate organizations, educational establishments, and public servants to donate copies to public and private libraries across Nigeria and around the world. Let this book find its way into schools, universities, research centers, policy institutions, military academies, and libraries where future generations can learn from the experiences and insights it contains. Knowledge becomes most valuable when it is shared. As I conclude, permit me to congratulate Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, retired, for this generous act of nation building through knowledge sharing. Thank you for choosing to document your experiences. Thank you for preserving history. Thank you for enriching the national conversation on leadership, security, governance, and patriotism. And from us, from Kenyon International and Helen Keller Foundation, we wish to support this contribution to knowledge with a modest sum of 10 million naira. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, can we clap for him? Former speaker, sir. Before you leave the podium, sir, I just needed so that you don't have to come back. I know that that was you speaking on behalf of the chief launcher, but as one who represented the good people, so that I don't call you back later and you will not have that opportunity to contribute. You may just mention your own contribution, sir.
Gladly, I will do so. I listened to our father, General Aguai, when he spoke, and then in part of his speech, he made a comment and said, I was requested, and then changed and used the military word, I was ordered. And so here, I am only on a representative capacity. I have been contemplating while seated there whether to make a personal contribution, and have learned a whole lot from the military. So without much ado, myself, my family, and my law firm will make a contribution of 2 million naira in support of this.
Thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for him. We will go immediately into the sales, but let me appreciate two people who have just joined us. One of them, of course, is the representative of the Controller General of the Corrections, Babafemi Jayoba, who is the Assistant Controller General of Corrections. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you. And we also have with us the Head of Political Press and Information Section, Deputy Head of Delegation at the EU, Zissimos Vargos. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. We are honored to have you here. There's one person, however, I'll ask us to especially appreciate. If you want to sit down while you clap for her, if you want to stand up. But this is the one who is a writer, an inspiration, a lover, a keeper of the pen, a shoulder of the burden, and one who helps to keep the home while the man is out there. She's the co-author of this book, and I think we have not celebrated her enough because she's the inspiration behind this book, Engineer Mrs. Olarewaju Oluwagbire. Please put your hands together for her. Let's celebrate her. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. I actually wanted to say you may kiss the bride, but... Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will go into the sales of the book. But I want to say something that I emceed a book launch by a military general a few weeks ago, and I was surprised that a retired army chief announced his donation. A serving military officer gave cash, and he says, MC, announce it. And I believe that in this hall, we can throw caution to the wind because we have family here. Are we not? Hello? Yes, normally when I say that, people don't cooperate. Thank you for not cooperating. But distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we'll make it as simple as possible and seamless. I'll just start with those who saw the book first, those who came for the unveiling. So I'll just go, the former speaker has said something. I will just get a mic. Can we get the mic to them? I will come first to the chairman. Mr. Chairman. Just give the mic. Once he's done talking, he's giving instruction to the former speaker. Mr. Chairman, sir, thank you. We are honored to have you. You want to say something about the book? Okay, didn't get that brief, sir. All right. Yeah, I know he will say something. But after that, we'll go to His Excellency.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I got a note, as I told you, with the speech and the comment to represent the, let me use the military language in our time, the actually chairman. And after that, all effort to reach him, he has been traveling. I've not been able to know his thoughts about how many copies or what he is going to do. But I believe, Sola, he will reach to you. But as a person, I have not even, the title itself is very enticing and it's good to read. And I also one of those who advocated that you should do everything you can to buy a copy for yourself and for your friend. I don't know how much the book cover price is, but I definitely will want to take a copy for myself, and I will take 3 copies because I have 3 kids. And then I wanted to buy 1 more copy, but I'll buy 1 so that all my grandchildren will unite and read 1. So on that note, can I get, that's 4 or 5? That's
5
4.
copies, sir.
Oh, 5 copies. Okay, so I'm getting 5 copies. And please, I will not tell the amount so that it doesn't frighten you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir, just pass the mic to him, sir. Thank you very much.
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, we'll buy 20 copies at undisclosed sum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the diplomatic secrets. Sir, should I come to you? You want to say something? Yes, please. On behalf of the Minister of Defense.
Your Excellencies, I'm actually glad to see very revered retired senior officers here, starting from Oga Oshumakide's second course, Oga O.S. Ibrahim, Oga Leo, Oga Gambo, and our revered Oga Gwai. I must say, Sola, you are blessed with all this. It's enough goodwill message for second course, and I pray that God continues to keep our revered officers in good health as they are still contributing to all the services. I'm representing Oga Musa. He will have been here even up till last night. They were on what they call telephone battles. There were some things, but they had service cancels this morning, which he could not shift. He has been following Sola Oluwagbire since the academy. Sola is somebody, a lot of us, he's 1 year, I'm 39, he's 40 years, but I call him my mentor. And it's a lot of people that a lot of us look up to, despite the fact that he came to the academy after us. Sola, his life is an example, is a testament, and that is what the minister says. So to come and contribute, the minister is very pleased with you. And by the time you see what the minister is giving, you'll be pleased. That is what I would say. And I want to thank everybody. So Sola, Oga is waiting for you. In fact, just say I should just collect the account number, and then that's, and I think that's all I will say about the minister. I want to thank all our revered senior officers, the excellencies, the traditional rulers, and everybody. But in essence, on a personal note, this book speaks to the essence of our time now. It is timely. Nigeria is in a situation where every hand needs to be on deck to project security. Security is all of governance, so we need to know, and how do you project security, how do you project power? This book is relevant, this book is timely, this book is actually pivotal to the success of Nigeria, and I will encourage everybody to please lay hands on this book. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much. I've been told that we have cards going around with the ushers. Some people are already filling them out. If you need a copy, just to fill out either for a pledge form or a cash form, you can do that quickly. And if you want it announced, you can just tick that, ignore it and announce it. But if you don't want it announced, just say, please don't announce. I am at liberty to announce the amount. I'll leave your name to you since you are free to keep that to yourself. But I want to encourage us that this is really not a book sales, but as family members, we're supporting one of our own. And do it without pressure, please. But I want to go to the representative of the CDI. I know he's here. Please put your hands together for him as he takes the mic. Thank you, sir.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by appreciating the presence of General Oluwagbire here, who is wearing several caps at the same time. You know, he has picked about 5 copies. Perhaps some of the grandchildren will bother him and let him know that, look, they can understand the content of the book. So he may come back and add more copies. The writer of this book was my student. And by the time we were managing them as cadets, you know, the intellectual rising as it is today wasn't there. Wasn't there at all. We were more attached to the past. We were more attached to analog, more or less. I have a small write-up in the book myself, commending his effort, because the whole story of making the Nigerian Defense Academy a degree-awarding institution was a very touchiest one. It was a very touchiest one. And I can boldly say that this book is a celebration of the intellectual dimension of the people who brought it about, perhaps inclusive of General Oluwagbire and his generation, because after the war, we went to sleep because of what I called indulgences of peacetime. Peacetime indulgences as a way of making you look at life totally differently. But it's within that sense ecosystem. And I bring two things like, let's make this academy a degree awarding institution. This book is a celebration. This book is a celebration of that reality. Because, look, very many years ago, the ones who saw us from a distance thought they could use certain words to describe us. Either we are hostile, either we are not friendly. They remember things like bloody civilian and use it and weaponize it as if to demean our very existence. You see, these armed forces has evolved. Has evolved. Unfortunately, there are certain things that are slowing us down. Nobody taught us in the classroom that we will fight about 7 wars or 8 wars about the same time. No. The lecture was packaged as if to say, the enemy is defined, you are leading a force, so take on the enemy and destroy him. But when I visited the British Defense Headquarters as Chief of Defense Staff, I was given a book by the Chief of Defense Staff, British Forces. And the title of that book is Invisible Armies. Invisible Armies. Anybody who has read deeply about the British engagement across the globe, Britain was everything before. Don't forget that. And they had more than their fair share of encounter with insurgencies, whatever name you call it, terrorists or whatever. And I was relating with the chief of defense staff there, who have a very good idea of what we are confronted with in Nigeria. And he was telling me, Admiral Ibrahim, please, I'll visit Nigeria again, and I'll come with an examination, a set of examination questions. Please read this book. I would like to go back to Britain with the answer to your script. The book is about 460 pages or something like that. Of course, to me, I had the privilege of engagement in scholarly activities. Yeah, that is the opportunity this time present all of us. Even though I didn't go to academy, when academy was a degree-awarding institution, very many senior officers pick up degrees outside. Some of them did it on their own stream, on their own strength. And while General Aguaye was telling me, or telling you, the audience today, that he has a mate in the audience, apparently, I shared a classroom with him. Like the author who would have been a medical doctor, General Aguaye could have been many things. Many things. Because I sat in the classroom with him, and I was worried about how easily was it for him to up his uptake on practically complex things that he wasn't part of his foundation. But they took him away from the classroom and made him a defense advisor in Zimbabwe, sir. So he wasn't lined up with us when I was graduated from the law faculty of the Ahmadu Bello University very many years back. I'm a card-carrying member of Nigerian Bar Association. I will invite him when it is comfortable to join. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are here as a family. I shared a past with the author. Yeah, a very honorable one. He is representing a class. That class has a potential. He is just demonstrating a bit of it. A bit of it. Please, read beyond this book. And like General Aguaye said, maybe mine will come after his own now. We cannot afford to live in the past anymore. This country must assert itself. When you put these recommendations together, what this author is saying is begin to lay a foundation for a superpower. That is what he's saying, too many words. His own is about 120-something pages, yes. I don't know who edited it. The sum effect is this: Nigeria, wake up. You have leadership trusted upon you, take it. What does it take to make a superpower anyway? There's a foundation. 1,000 miles, we start with one step, isn't it? We may not necessarily witness it because we are here today. Who is afraid in a world that is so disturbed? Some people kept us in classroom and taught us so much about United Nations. Everybody's on his own now. Everybody is on his own. That relate with being lonely with dependency. It started as far back. Some fancy philosophers of antiquity. 41 BC. Wasn't that your opening sentence? Look, the world has evolved. The world of today, tell your kids, they have a stake in making this country what it should be. Who is afraid of being a superpower anyway? What is happening in the Middle East? The complexity that embodies the whole of Middle East today. Would anybody have suggested that while a country was busy celebrating its greatness, in the armed forces. Another one was quietly measuring every success they thought they made. The result is for all of us to witness. Word order used to be the household name for everybody. What word order? Whose word order? This book has said much more than he has been able to compress within a bit 100 and something pages. For every page, you can deliberately analyze it again. And I have provided you with data and fancy graphs and what have you. Yes. Sola, I wish you Godspeed. I wish your contemporaries Godspeed. Be the one that, like, we call it the pace setter for your generation. Let them write and analyze and critique the book. Perhaps may I close on this note that the reason I've not written any book at all is because I spent the better part of my life criticizing other people's works. So I spent the better part of my life criticizing other people's works. So I'm frightened.
Please, let's encourage him. Let's encourage him. Thank you, sir.
That is the reason.
Sir, your book is coming soon, sir.
God bless you all for being here to honor him. God bless you here for honoring his contemporaries that share the classroom with him. They are not, so many of them are here. Look out for their books also. And I hope I will see you on my feet so they will call me up to come and honor the book. Thanks, General Aguayi, for calling me his mate. And I believe that when his book comes out before mine, I will be in the audience. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. May I correctly refer to him as the former Chief of Defense Staff, Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, retired CFR. Please put your hands together for him. I have been warned outside that you cannot collect the mic from a senior military officer, either serving or retired. At this point, I'm thinking whether to give them the mic in the first place. Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that the others will take a cue from him because we have a whole lot of other people who will speak. But if you allow me to say my mind, I will say that we are selling this book at this point, and we'll create room a little later for goodwill messages so that we don't mix the two. I like to count my money, and I know when to leave, like Don Williams, when it's time. So I want to also specially appreciate one who's a writer also and a public speaker, also a former Chief of Defense Staff. May I especially appreciate General Lucky Irabo. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you. Well, since you're a seller or a marketer, I'll pick 5 copies of the book for an undisclosed amount of money. 5 copies.
5 copies. Please put your hands together. 5 copies already sold.
Let me take a cue from my boss to say that on the strength of this book, I have not read it, but I'm quite delighted to hear from the book reviewer and to say to especially the politicians that the military is not, both those that are serving and those that are retired, they are not enemies of democracy. And rather that it will do us a whole lot of good if we tap from the experiences and from the wealth of knowledge that's available in the military so that we can have a better country. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've been told also we have with us former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, retired CFR. Please put your hands together for him.
the chairman of this occasion, members of the high table. I've seen a lot of our forebears, up here. A special good morning and happy reunion to us all. Sola, I will say congratulations. I've also not read the book, but I will take a cue from my August on the right here. But your book succinctly speaks to Paloff, an American writer. I'm sure during your research you must have gone through his works. And he speaks to what he calls the Conference of Foreign Relations in the United States of America, where who gets what and who doesn't get at all in the matrix of American politics, and of course, by extension, to the global community. So I congratulate you for this book. Courtesy the internet, I was able to browse through your book yesterday. It's already on Amazon and everywhere. It's a very beautiful book. Yes. I say, Nigeria is inching towards your query, answering your query. And I believe unarguably, our way to becoming a superpower, as expressed by Admiral Olusola Ibrahim, is very possible. I don't want to go through what he has said again, but again, our way to becoming a superpower is industrialization. I want to believe everybody is with me on this. I believe we will get there in no distant time. Our democracy is just merely how many years now? And then we can see how far America has gone. But again, there is no small country and there is no big country where global politics stands today. So thank you for this piece. And it's not only reading for us in the military, but for everybody. And I will pick 20 copies of this book for an undisclosed amount, and I'll make sure it's on the right shelves, across our public institutions. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for him. We appreciate you, sirs, and we know that whatever you have not disclosed will be disclosed to the author later. Thank you. I want to go to the deputy governor who has powers to disclose. Can we put our hands together for him? Your Excellency. Sir, you can deliver your goodwill message and give the money in goodwill. Please put your hands together for him.
Your Excellencies, as an ad hoc politician, I don't know protocol. The best I know, and I always do, is to borrow and copy and paste the protocol established by the sub-lieutenant and her members. Thank you very much. Let me sincerely appreciate God for allowing us to see today. Let me sincerely appreciate the author and also to congratulate him. I'm congratulating him because I saw the book when it was in the oven. It was undergoing baking. And not all books that go to the oven come out. So I congratulate you for your book seeing the light of the day, that it has, at least it's not a stillbirth. I know of so many scholars whose work are stillbirth. I don't know the general that said his own work is criticism. Probably the criticism, it will help us. I'm the greatest critic possible. So, sir, as a former customs officer, let me stand at attention and tell you to publish those your criticisms. It will still help us. Secondly, let me congratulate you for joining the group, the brigade of Nigerians that will never ever die. Authors don't ever die. Once we quote Soyinka, we quote, well, Soyinka is still alive. Once we quote Achebe or even Wole Shakespeare, we don't put late. That you will never ever die is another congratulator. I'm speaking to you as a serial, which you know, a serial author. Aha. So I welcome you to the club of those that will not die. Having gone through the book, like I said, when it was open, I think a little bit of my comment is on one of the pages. I want to sincerely say that you have done what should be done. The problem in Nigeria, that was what we just discussed yesterday when the Northerners wanted to talk about human capital development yesterday. It's not as if we don't know what to do. But the zeal, the political will, the determination to implement what to do. I hope not only the military, all organizations, because the issue of security now is not something that you can leave to the hands of security agents. So many things will be left out. Everybody must be in the fight for security. If we go back to our leftist school, we will say, dip your bucket where you are. Do what you can do to improve security situation, either by reading this book or taking it to somebody that will read it. But please, the issue of security is something that we must all come together. Don't wait till you are a general. How many generals are we going to have? Don't wait until you are an author. Whatever you can do, that is what we mean by dip your bucket. Do what you can do. Even my friend, the press, if you report accurately, you don't mislead us, you are helping us in security. So it's a challenge that is left to us. But like I always tell authors, you are now like a sane man who went to Idumota market and removed your dress. You will expect any criticism, but for our discussion, me and you must be determined to listen to anything. If a madman goes to the market and removes his dress, it's no news. But you that you are saying you went to market and remove your dress, there is nothing you will not hear, but you must stand. And on the final note, despite Ecclesiastes 12:12 that says, in making many books there is no end, I urge you to write more and more. I'm older than you and I'm still writing. Sir, we are waiting for your criticisms.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, okay, the last paragraph, note, sir.
I'll take 20 copies. I have a personal discussion with the author.
Yes, sir. Sir, we are aware. Thank you very much, sir. Please put your hands together for him. We had to beg him not to buy the whole books. His intention was to just pay for all. But thank you very much. I especially appreciate Dr. M.D. Jatto, Deputy Governor of Gombe State. We're honored to have you. Please, another round of applause for him. I'll now want to go to the head of political press and information section of the EU, Deputy Head of Delegation. I know that he knows the importance of books and he has the mandate of the entire world to speak and to buy books. Zissimos Vargos. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you. What a great honor. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I was not expecting to be given the floor because this is a peer review of the highest level among Nigerians. But given that the book is dealing with foreign policy, I think it's important to share a few thoughts with you. First of all, I would like to echo what the previous speaker eloquently stated. The superpower projection of a country passes from its industrialization. It's about knowledge economies. And everybody works around the brilliant human capital. The abundance of natural resources with which Nigeria is privileged is nothing in front of its human capital. In today's world, everybody is perplexed. A landscape of insecurity, and everybody is trying to see what will be the best partnership, the best alliance to handle this difficult process. It was supposed to be handled amply by the multilateral system. For one or the other reason, it's not happening. I read a couple of years ago a brilliant publication about the 60 years of Nigerians' foreign policy. And the legacy of Nigerian foreign policy is to be non-aligned. But in this new world, non-aligned means poly-aligned, which is natural. And I will be looking forward to add to my knowledge or my effort to understand Nigeria, because to understand Nigeria, you have to spend many hours studying, many hours discussing, many days visiting. It is only at that stage that you understand what Nigeria represents. Now, Nigeria has an important role to play in many areas for its own national security. As a guarantor of the security of West Africa, in the space of maritime security, and in fact, the Rear Admiral, the author of the book, we have to congratulate also the Nigerian Navy that recently celebrated its 70th anniversary. In the area of counterterrorism, in peacekeeping for the African Union, Nigeria can only be out there as a distinguished partner for everybody. Thank you so much for making this honor, and I'm sure that there will be quite a number of orders coming from the members of the international community that they will be looking very much forward to reading its content and, of course, interacting with all its contributors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. You're not taking copies of the book, sir?
I will definitely take with me.
Should the ushers bring copies of the book?
Definitely
please?
with me. I will take 5 copies that I can immediately know where to, to donate while keeping one for me, for my personal library. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Please put your hands together for him. I'll quickly want to just take the representatives of the service chiefs. May I invite Chief of Training, Major General V. Okoro for the Nigerian Army. Please put your hands together as he comes up to take the microphone. Okay, let me just bring it where you are.
The chairman for this auspicious occasion, the actual but not the actually, General Martin Luther Aguirre, a senior officer with whom I have a very personal relationship. So I'm honored being here before you today. General Aguirre has been very pivotal in shaping my career in the Nigerian Army and even beyond that. He remains a very great mentor. I'm so officers here, I know what I'm talking about. The author, Admiral Olusola, I'm a bit confused now because years back, I was compelled under pressure to memorize a certain version of his name. That name has changed, and I'd asked for reparation before I could identify the new name. So until I get the reparation, I'll continue to refer to you as Sola, sir. I wish I could simply adopt the protocol, but looking at the class of people here today, especially those here on the front row, a lot more senior officers behind me, I do not have that latitude, but I want to say, sir, the former chiefs of defense staff, former service chiefs, senior officers here present, you are all respectfully acknowledged. Your Highnesses, extinguished guests here today. So I stand here before you representing the Chief of Army Staff, who would have loved to be here, but for reasons already hinted by the representative of the Minister of Defense, he is not able to be here. The author is not of the Nigerian Army. What I would say, the Army blood flows in his veins. If you took note of the preponderance of pictures that we saw on the slide here, we had more of the Army. Admiral Sola exudes the Army trait in terms of how he carries himself, the ethics he represents, the principles by which he goes by, right from those days in the Nigerian Defense Academy. And I'll say, as it is known of Army officers, Admiral Sola hardly smiled those days in NDA. But Madam, I think you've done a great job. Oga now smiles frequently. Yes. Well, I don't think I'll be allowed to. I'm not even in a position to talk about him, and being that I'm representing the Chief of Army Staff, I have a specific task. Your scholarly work is one that the Nigerian Army finds very relevant to play very critical roles in our professional military education and in the development of leadership taught in the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Armed Forces. So the Nigerian Army identifies with that, and I am an authority to procure 10 copies of this scholarly work for an amount that has already been, in a typical Army fashion, has been credited into the provided account. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. We're honored to have you. May I also announce the real owners, represented by the Chief of Naval Safety and Standards at the Naval Headquarters, Rear Admiral P.S. Anabrabra. Please put your hands together for him.
Yeah. Thank you very much, MC. The chairman of this very important occasion, Your Excellencies, I stand on the already established protocol. I'm here to represent the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, Admiralty Medal. He extends his congratulations to the author. He has not asked me to make any speech, though, but let me say that the author is a great leader, a teacher, a very deliberate and intentional person. I was privileged to be in the academy with him. He was 2 years my senior. And he's somebody that, whether you like it or not, he must train you. He can give you one order. You are refusing to take it. One order, you give you 1,000 times. Both of you are standing there. You must take the order. That's how deliberate he is. And I'm grateful that I passed through him. And I'm a better person today. We were both DS. He was my senior DS in the National Defense College. And I learned a lot from him. So I want to say that the chief has directed me to congratulate him and to pick 20 copies of the book for an amount I will not disclose to the audience, but I will disclose same to him before I leave this place, and I'm sure his account will be credited even before I get to the office. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to inform us that the account numbers are on the screen so that you don't send it to the wrong account. Please, the account numbers are on the screen. And if you want immediate response, we also have POS. We have about 50 POS people here. They are everywhere in the hall. If you need their attention, just call on them. Our POS people, can you come to the front so they can see you? People want to pay now. Please put your hands together for our very wonderful technical team. I'll move now to the representative of the Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Transformation and Innovation at the NAF Headquarters. Please, let's specially appreciate Air Vice Marshal M.S. Ibrahim. Please put your hands together for him.
The chairman of this great occasion, senior officers, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. The author, a great leader, and one of our best coursemates, that's 40th course. We are really proud of you. I'm here to represent my chief, which is unavoidably absent. He's really very grateful for what you have done. As I said, this work is not only for you, it's for all members of 40 regular course. We are really proud of you. You see, this is in-house. As I said, it's a 40 course issue. So we are going to pick 20 copies, and the amount will be in the account right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I want to specially appreciate the service chiefs for honoring our invitation, and to all the others. I also want to establish as a standard protocol that these speeches represent every other thing you wanted to say, except the amount that you want to donate. So please, because of time, the time allotted for me to sell these books I have used, but they have given me another 5 minutes. I'll just use that time very quickly to just make sure that everybody has a copy of the book. But we have ushers in the hall who are still going around. We have POS, and we have the account number still on the screen, so we can do this as quickly as possible. I promise you later on we'll have time for goodwill messages, but right now I have the mandate to just sell these books. It's important that we do this quickly. Thank you very much. I know that we have the NOAA president, Mrs. Aisha Idi Abbas, ably represented by Mrs. Husseina A. Umar. Is she around? Thank you very much, ma'am. I know that you will just go straight to the announcement. Please put your hands together for her.
You need that. Good morning, and permit me to stand on existing protocol. I'm here to represent the wife of the chief NOAA president, Mrs. Aisha Idi Abbas. I don't know much about the author, but I can see his wife is here present with him, which says a lot to all of us, especially the NOAA people. So all I can say is congratulations, sir, and hopefully the NOAA president will communicate the amount of books we are buying and how much she will be giving in due time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together. May I especially welcome the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Lamido Belguri. I don't know if he's still around. I know he was here earlier. Please put your hands together for him. Well, I think he stepped out. We have also the National Coordinator of Novel Perspective, Ambassador Honorable Okolo. If he's here, can you just approach? Please put your hands together for him. While we're waiting for him to come, I just want to conclude this circle here. Let me go to Nigeria Customs. So, okay, he's here. Okay, you are not the one. Sir.
Thank you very much, MC, the chairman, special guest of honor. May I stand on the existing established protocols? I would say that I've already purchased two copies of this book. The money which has already been paid forward. And these two books will be used as a bargaining chip and a forward matching object in order to negotiate the purchase of 300 copies for Nigeria Customs Service libraries. I will also stand and insist as the Commander, Nigeria Customs Tradoc, that such books and similar other ones will be used in our colleges to bring up our officers with the right knowledge of politics, economy, and security, of which is dearly needed in this country today. The book is very much relevant to all of us, not only to Nigeria Customs. And I bring the good news from the Nigeria Customs Service that I should let the author know and apologize for his absence, and that we are so glad to have this book on the ground for use, for our future use. Thank you very much for this production.
Thank you very much. Paid and sealed. Let me come to the correction, so you may help us correct what we have been doing wrong.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to represent the Controller General of Nigerian Correctional Service in person of Mr. Ndidi Wakuche, Sylvester Ndidi Wakuche, MFR, MNI. I was, like we know, in military and paramilitary, I was given an order just this morning that I should be here. So we've not really been able to concretize the number of books to purchase this day. But I want to assure you that using my discretion, all our training institutions, about 5 training institutions, and the Controller General and my humble self will be taking 5 as demanded. And I want to assure you that in no time, we'll get back to you to send the money to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Well, just 2 quick ones. We want to especially appreciate Alhaji Usman Umar, who had purchased 2 copies at the cost of 300,000 naira. Please put your hands together for him. May I also especially appreciate the chairman and members of the Ishain Development Union. They have also decided to do a good job of supporting their own. The executive chairman says he wants to purchase 10 copies at the sum of 200,000 naira. Please put your hands together for him. So I will just take this last one and then we'll go on.
Thank you. Excellencies, the author, congratulations, Sola, and the darling wife. I'm Rear Admiral Dele Oshumakin, retired. I retired as the Chief of Admin, Defense Headquarters, 1997. I was also, I can say, an hydrographer of the Navy, ex-hydrographer. I met Sola very early when he knew me, and I might not have known him or recognized him later. It was with my friend and ex-hydrographer, late Admiral Aroko Dari. He was his naval assistant. But I met Sola again lately, and probably that's why he remembered me and invited me for this. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet all my this, that, especially the military people, and with respect, including General Aguai. Happy to meet you again. I will go straight to the business of, I wanted to remark that Sola had kept a lot of secret for me. You imagine since that time up till recently, he never told me he was going to write a powerful book like this. And when I was bragging in his office, he would listen carefully, maybe to my rubbish. I now see that I apologize for all those rubbish. It's a good book.
is something everybody will be proud of. When I was coming in, I said, let me buy two. One for myself, maybe one for General Basnojo, who is from Owu Kingdom. I'm a chief in Owu Kingdom. And now that the general will send him some, I will still take my own. So I wanted to buy these two at the rate of 1 million naira each. But because of the impact this book will surely have on many people, including me, I will add one with 1 million naira. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With the kind permission of the author, we want to ask the district head of Chancellor, the former DG National Sports Commission, His Royal Highness Dr. Al-Hassan Yahya Yakmud, to do us the honors of just telling us something. It's very important. We had to breach protocol to bring you in, but thank you very much. So if you approach this way because of the speaker, sir, 1 minute. If you have good neighbors, they should represent you. Please put your hands together for him, sir.
Thank you so much, but let me sincerely apologize for coming late. I try to do what human beings cannot do, being in two places at the same time. But alhamdulillah, I'm happy to be here to identify with the author who we share the same neighborhood, we're in the same estate. I'm the immediate vice chairman of Wonderland Estate and also a colleague of his that we tried to see if we can get better facilities in our estate. But now that he has added intellectuality to neighborhood, I think having been one of the intellectuals in my place at one time, now a traditional ruler, I think the best to do is to get my ancestors to be part of this day. And it's going to be a very little contribution and we will tidy it up. I'm going to take 2 copies of the book for 100,000 naira and then also see if we can move from the shadows of power to the corridors of power. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mashallah Mao, former Chief of Air Staff, has bought 2 copies for the sum of 500,000 naira. Please put your hands together for him. To also tell us that the cover price for this book is 50,000. So if you had bought 10 copies, you may be owing us. But generally, we're in the spirit of this launch. Please let's make sure we pick copies of this book. Our ushers are still going around. We'll continue to announce as we make progress. But however, we'll need to move to other items on the program for now. Please, once more, let's appreciate those who have contributed.
Thank you very much. Next, the program, we shall be going to the goodwill messages. We had some before, so right now we shall take a special goodwill message from the author's course, and that's the 40th regular course. And I'd like to invite the president of the 40th Regular Course Association in the person of Rear Admiral Shegun Ferreira, retired. Just let's appreciate him as he comes forward to the podium. Thank you.
The special guest of honor and chairman of this occasion, distinguished personalities here present, good morning, or rather good afternoon. I'm Rear Admiral Olusola Oluwagbire, the president of the 40th Regular Course, a proud course of which one of us were gathered today in his honor. And I'll just quickly read the goodwill message from the entire course. And of course, our spouses, the fabulous 40 who are very well represented here this morning. It gives me immense pleasure, and with every sense of humility too, on behalf of the 40th Regular Course Association, extend our warmest congratulations to Admiral Sola Oluwagbire on the launch of your book, of power. This occasion marks the culmination of hard work, perseverance, creativity, and a deep commitment to sharing knowledge and ideas, not just with Nigeria, but the rest of the world. Writing and publishing a book is no small feat. It requires vision, discipline, and courage to transform thoughts into words, and words into lasting contributions that can inspire, educate, and influence generations of readers. Your achievement today is a testament to your dedication and passion for making a meaningful impact through literature. As this book is unveiled, I am confident that it will find its way into the hearts and minds of readers, offering valuable insights, sparking thoughtful conversations, and enriching lives. May it serve as a source of inspiration and enlightenment to all who encounter its pages. On this special occasion, I celebrate not only the launch of a book, but also the accomplishment of a distinguished author whose efforts have produced a work of lasting value. May this publication enjoy widespread acceptance, critical acclaim, and enduring relevance. Most importantly, the global space has increasingly witnessed great power competition take center stage as countries continue to aggressively advance their national interest along the diplomatic, economic, military, information, political, and technological lines. Nigeria can therefore not remain on the sidelines, and that is the message Shadows of Power has carried. It is our prayer that this message gets to the right desk to influence policy in Nigeria. The special guest of honor, sir, we are glad to have you here because I can confidently say that this book should be on your desk every morning when you come to work. That's the Honorable Minister of State, Foreign Affairs, sir. At this point, I wish you continued success in all your future endeavors and look forward to witnessing even greater achievements in your literary journey. Congratulations once again on this remarkable milestone, and may your book enjoy a successful and impactful readership. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, having had the rare privilege of a sneak peek into the book, I can confirm that with Shadows of Power, you can actually judge a book by its cover. So on behalf of Forget's regular course, we have directed that every member of the course will purchase a copy for themselves, their wives, and of course their children. I will definitely get back to you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, sir, can we put our hands together for him? Mr. President, you say you'll get back to him on behalf of all the other members. You also get back to him about your own, sir. Can we clap for him as he decides to say something about it? Clap for the president, please. The ushers will meet you in a brief minute, in a few minutes. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. May I especially also So, ladies and gentlemen, having done beautifully at the sales and purchase, we'll now move to one whose job it is to work with Nigeria across borders. For many who spoke earlier talked about foreign policy, but this man represents Nigeria in his house, in his estate, and on every continent that he visits officially. May I therefore specially invite the one who will do for us our keynote address for today. Permit me to specially welcome His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of State Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Sola Oluwagbire. Please put your hands together for him, Oluwagbire. That's a very special representation that one man can represent Nigeria beautifully. Please put your hands together for him as he comes up to speak to us at this point.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The chairman of this occasion, senior military officers serving and retired, senior colleagues, civilian from every service, every ministry and MDAs, excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I was first invited, literally in my personal capacity, to deliver a goodwill message, which I have. At the time, I had no indication of the content of the book, which had further been amplified by the various remarks been made here this morning. So I have some difficulty either to skip my goodwill message and attempt to address some of the issues that have been raised from the perspective of government and also of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Maybe I should do the latter by skipping my goodwill message. My goodwill is my goodwill. And Rear Admiral Sola knows this so very well. I had said I first met him in Angola when he was DA, and subsequently in Defense College when I was Director, National Geopolitical Affairs of the college, and he was the directing staff. And we had this chemistry of thought, of synergy, of strategic thinking that had endured and endured from that time to this day. So congratulations, Rear Admiral Sola, and to your beautiful and amiable wife for an excellent job. Let me therefore proceed to speak briefly on where we are in terms of Nigerian foreign policy and the aspirations that we try to espouse in relating to the world. I think the first point I'd like to stress is that the motto of the Minister of Foreign Affairs is actually Nigerian first. This was adopted in April of 2007. Regrettably, Nigerians are not even aware that that is the case. It was adopted by the Federal Executive Council to the fact that every foreign policy action we take must speak to Nigeria. And what we've done, I was appointed to this position just about a month ago. What we've done is to translate this into a clearer vision of what foreign policy should do. Our view is that Nigeria's foreign policy exertions must bring benefit directly to Nigerians. And therefore, along the doctrine of concentric circles, we are locating Nigeria and Nigerians at the core of foreign policy preoccupations so that our national interest that advances our security, our defense, our economic prosperity are the core of Nigerian foreign policy. And when you look at the 4 Ds that had arisen from this grand vision, democracy, development, diaspora, and demography, Mr. President has reformulated these 4 Ds in a manner that again prioritizes Nigeria and the interests of Nigerians. Now we have first demography, which is the Nigerian people. Citizen diplomacy, economic prosperity is about Nigerians. Security is about Nigerians. Prosperity is about Nigerians. Defense is about Nigerian people. So in our view, that should be number 1 priority. Flowing from this is development. Development, as we are taught in National Defense College, I remember it is all-encompassing, not just regime security or military security, but security that enhances human security, which goes back to the first D of demography. Then democracy follows, not because we do not attach importance to democracy, but we see democracy as a means to an end. Democracy by itself does not deliver. It has to deliver benefits, again, to the first D, to the Nigerian people. And of course, diaspora population, very robust, very resilient, very agile, very resourceful all over the world. So that is the doctrinal framework within which we try to now advance Nigerian foreign policy. And you will see, as I proceed, that speaks to some of the content of the book and some of the remarks that have been made this morning. So in terms of operational realities, we have identified Nigeria contiguous countries as the first area of activity. Our neighbors, our security,
and prosperity and development are intrinsically linked to those of our neighbors. If they are not secure, if there's instability, as we found now from the Sahel, our security is imperiled. And we've decided to reprioritize that region, before we move further to Africa, without necessarily jettisoning Africa as the corner piece of our foreign policy. We believe that these objectives are mutually reinforcing. Nigeria has to be secure. We have to be stable before we can even play that activist role in foreign policy that traditionally we regarded as having played in the liberation struggle, etc. But the home must be strong. Which is why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reforms have been targeted at making the home strong, economically resilient, economically strong, all those economic reforms. You cannot have a dynamic and activist foreign policy if the home is weak, if the country is disunited, if there is no harmony in Nigeria. How can you go outside and be taken seriously? The reality is that all these issues are just as important as one the other. You cannot choose the domestic environment at the expense of the external. You just, as a government, must pursue all of those simultaneously with equal measure. That's exactly what we're trying to do. With particular relevance to the big powers, which the author alluded to and some of the comments, he spoke about strategic autonomy. What is strategic autonomy? Simply put, it means alignment to our national interest. So when we say non-alignment, we are saying alignment to what? Our national interest. And therefore, wherever the wind blows, that's where we go. Yeah, and that has not changed. We may have tilted a little to the west, but we have not abandoned our traditional partners, whether Russia, whether China, whether Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Brazil. All of those BRICS members are still of equal engagement in Nigerian foreign policy. Are we trying to deepen this partnership? We're in an era of new partnership. That's the way we look at it. When powers come and say they want to help, again, when I listened to some of the comments, we are all in this together. I joined the Nigerian Foreign Service in 1982, and I've been in government since that time, up to now. Many of my senior officers have been in government. What did we do to ensure that we stayed on course to what will actually promote Nigerian foreign policy or Nigerian national interest? In our conscience, we will know how much of those interests we were able to pursue when we were in our various offices. So it's a good book, a wake-up call to reawaken and resensitize us that indeed we must never lose focus on what will best advance Nigeria strategic autonomy, which is alignment to our own national interests. And by extension, therefore, I submit that Nigerian leadership in Africa, indeed the world, it's not winning. Foreign policy must be dynamic, it must be pragmatic, it's not dogmatic, it's not static. You must respond to events, not just as they occur domestically, but how they also unfold globally. Hence, we have a new chapter of partnership with the United States. It's not new. Many of our senior military officers will bear this out. American training partnership has been with us. I checked the record as from 2000, same with the British and all the other partners. So what had happened is a reinvigoration of those partnerships in a manner that addresses our current domestic security challenges. And the truth of the matter, I must stress, is no aspect of Nigerian domestic policy can succeed unless you identify the external components of those policies and pursue them equally. That's just the gospel truth, which speaks to the nexus between the domestic and the external. Our job as diplomats, as military officers in diplomacy, is to see how we strike a balance in harnessing these two sides of the same policy. And finally, for us in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there are a lot of challenges in terms of institutional issues of being proactive in dealing with Nigerian foreign policy that advances those objectives I just tried to enumerate. So we're trying to rebuild the institution in terms of capacity building, in terms of the systems and processes of foreign policy manner that restores confidence, including morale, including professionalism, into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We are trying to do that, and we've said the ball rolling. Simple things like record management. A document lands the ministry. If you are not careful, after 2-3 days, you might not be able to find it. That wasn't the case when we joined. A document comes, send it to the registry, file and return. The registry clerk brings it back to you. If there are closed files, you reference those closed files and bring to you so that when you are examining the issue, you have the full knowledge. Those are the kind of things that are missing currently. We must bring them back, okay? Training. I've told them, we don't need a lot of money. In the military, and I'm glad I saw that in Defense College, it's a rare privilege, an eye-opener. In the military, you cannot advance to the next rank, I'm told, unless you attend some courses, write exam and pass. In the civil service, everybody is on conveyor belt. When you arrive at the airport, your luggage just comes, you pick it and go. We're trying to change until you become maybe at directorate level, and the kind of question, I'm a resource person, I could confirm that. We want to insist that